On a cold, moonless February night, one of the most baffling disappearances in American history took place. A young woman, seemingly with everything to live for, vanishes without a trace in the middle of nowhere. How does a simple, seemingly innocent drive lead to one of the most mysterious cold cases of the 21st century? How does someone simply vanish, leaving no clues, no body, and no definitive answers? Maura Murray's story is not just another missing persons case. It's a haunting enigma that continues to draw attention 20 years after her disappearance. Join me as we dive into the chilling, unresolved mystery of Maura Murray, a story filled with strange twists, unsettling coincidences, and more questions than answers. Was Maura running from something, or was she the victim of something far more sinister? To understand how Maura Murray disappeared, we first need to know who she was. On the surface, Maura was the picture of normalcy, a young woman with a bright future, a promising nursing career, and a loving family. Born in the small town of Hanson, Massachusetts, Maura was known for being bright, ambitious, and fiercely independent. But beneath that exterior, there was a storm brewing. Maura's personal life was far from perfect. She had complicated relationships, especially with her father, Fred Murray. They were close, yet strained by the pressures of life. She held herself to a high standard, and at times, that took a toll on her. Leading up to the night of her disappearance, things in Maura's life seemed to take a downward turn. Just days before she vanished, she was caught drinking at a party, something that didn't sit well with her professors or her strict school policies. She had a history of hiding her struggles, bottling up emotions, dealing with pressures on her own terms. A breakup with her longtime boyfriend, Bill Rausch, seemed to have left Maura emotionally drained. The relationship was ending, and with it, a part of Maura's world. The tension was palpable. Maura had just left her boyfriend's apartment and was now facing the hardest part of being an adult, dealing with the personal fallout. She didn't show it on the surface, but everything was building toward an unknown breaking point. As Maura walked into her dorm on the evening of February 9th, 2004, it seemed like any other ordinary night. But it was anything but ordinary. At 7 p.m., Maura made an uncharacteristic decision. She withdrew $280 in cash from an ATM, packed her car, and headed out without a word to anyone. Her destination? A mystery. At 7:27 p.m., Maura Murray's car crashed into a snowbank along Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire. The crash was minor. The weather was harsh with freezing temperatures and the road was desolate. Yet the crash itself wasn't what would forever shroud this night in mystery. It was what happened after the crash that would haunt everyone. The first person to come across Maura's wrecked car was Butch Atwood, a local school bus driver. Butch was driving home when he saw the car, its hazard lights blinking. He stopped, intending to help, but the young woman behind the wheel didn't seem worried at all. She was calm, composed. Something felt off. When he offered to call the police, she declined. She told him she was fine and didn't need assistance. This calm, almost eerie composure was the first of many strange signals. Maura wasn't acting like someone who had just crashed their car on a desolate winter road. She was eerily nonchalant, like she had already made up her mind about something. Butch left, thinking everything was fine, but it wasn't. Just moments after Butch Atwood drove away, the situation began to spiral. Maura's car remained abandoned in the snow, but where was Maura? At around 7:30 p.m., police received the first calls about the crash. When they arrived at the scene, the car was still there, but Maura was nowhere to be found. What police found next was chilling. The driver's seat was pulled forward, suggesting Maura had been in the car recently, but her belongings, her purse, her cell phone, and her backpack were still inside. There were no footprints in the snow, nothing to indicate where she had gone or what happened next. Search teams scoured the area. The woods, the nearby homes, and every road for miles were covered, but there was no sign of Maura Murray. Hours turned into days, then weeks. Still, no trace. This wasn't just another case of someone who wandered off after a crash. Something was amiss. One of the first theories that emerged was that Maura had run away. Maybe she was overwhelmed by everything happening in her life. The stress of school, the pressure from family, the breakup with Bill. It might have been too much for her to handle. Maybe she had planned her escape all along. This theory gained traction after it was discovered that Maura had packed her car with clothes, personal items, and even a bottle of wine, suggesting she might have been preparing for some time away. But if she was planning to leave, why didn't she tell anyone? Why didn't she reach out to her family or her friends? And why didn't she take her car with her? The more people speculated about this runaway theory, the more confusing it became. If Maura was planning to leave, why did she crash her car in the first place? And if she wanted to escape, why not leave quietly instead of abandoning all her belongings? Was there something more sinister at play? As the days passed, another theory began to form, one that hinted at something much darker than a simple runaway. What if Maura had been the victim of foul play? A witness came forward claiming to have seen a strange man in the area near the crash site. Could Maura have been abducted after the crash? Could she have encountered someone dangerous while stranded on that lonely road? More chilling reports surfaced. An anonymous caller claimed to have seen Maura in a nearby town, but the police couldn't verify this lead. Was Maura alive and trying to escape? Or had someone taken her against her will? The possibility of foul play started to seem more likely, especially when evidence suggested Maura may have been trying to contact someone for help before she disappeared. Her cell phone records showed a call to her boyfriend just before the crash, but the call was never returned. Was she in distress? Was Maura trying to reach out to someone before vanishing forever? For Maura's family, every day without answers is a torturous reminder of the night she disappeared. Fred and Maura Murray have fought for years to keep the search alive, never giving up hope. But the pain of losing a loved one without closure is unbearable. The questions eat away at them. What happened to Maura? Why was she taken? Why did she leave? Fred Murray has spoken publicly about his frustration with the investigation, but he remains determined. He wants answers. They all do. As years passed, new theories and questions arose. Was there an accident no one knows about? Did Maura run away to escape something far darker? Was she a victim of an unknown predator who still walks free? The truth might never be fully understood, but the unanswered questions only grow darker with time. Every year, more people dig into the case, suggesting new theories and piecing together fragments of evidence. The case of Maura Murray remains an enduring mystery. After all these years, it's still impossible to say for sure what happened. Was Maura running from her life? Was she taken by someone? Or did she simply vanish into thin air? We may never know the answers, but one thing is certain. Maura Murray's story will never be forgotten. Like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.